Hello, testing. Okay, testing my mic. Okay, testing my internet connection. Okay, all good. Okay, so I hope everyone can hear my voice. So welcome back for the class today. So for today class, we will complete the chapter 5 aerobic respiration part. So the second topic, so we will complete the aerobic respiration. So now already 8 o'clock. Okay, so and before that, I think everyone got see join just enter this chapter today. Literally just enter this chapter today. Okay, fine. Whatever. Okay. Before we continue our topic today, so if you guys could see the Telegram group, join lah. For those who not join, you can scan this QR code. In the QR code go Telegram channel one. So for those who have joined our Telegram channel, you will know that I had did the essay question list right in Google Doc. You can access it. I already opened the access. Everyone can see it unless you log in your email lah. Any email can. So that already got sem 1 and sem 3 questions. All are the essay question that may be come out in exam. I don't know. All the possible question lah. And all of the question normally is very straightforward, no kebat at all, I think. No, nothing kebat, all are straightforward. So normally in STPM memang dia tak ada kebat-kebat punya soalan lah. Tak macam SPM if you refer to past year question. But just that because STPM ada banyak benda kena baca. And also biology require the scientific terms kan. And so those who have learned about my answering technique, you will know lah what are the technique. But whatever, the main purpose is me to create these essay questions to the series of essay question called like 6 soalan essay macam PA. Karena I know that in STPM normally in science stream lah, science stream subject memang dia tak ada macam seperti yang sains sosial, seperti yang especially PA lah. PA ada banyak kan to collect essay atau collect objective, but science stream not yet. So I do this actually is to helping you guys lah. So I hope that no you guys can try yourself to do it, evaluate yourself whether you are mastering your subject or not, biology or not. If you can answer all these questions without seeing the books, normally you can get A lah, I can say. For essay part lah, normally 60 mark, you can get 58, 59 like that. If you can answer it without seeing the book. However, so hopefully you can try it. Try it yourself lah. Try it yourself. And please don't PM me any related question lah. PM me personally. If you want to ask question, you just directly ask in the group. Ask in the group. So if I see it, I can answer it, or anyone that know it will answer it. So please don't PM me. PM me. And also, you will see that I have no answer will be given, only question will be given only. So if for those one answer, yes, you can get an answer from me. You just pay 10 ringgit per question. Because why I charge too high? Because the main purpose I do this is to help you. Is to help you. Free punya, memang free punya. Kan soalan semua memang soalan free punya. Yang saya nak bantu awak je, bukan untuk buat untung. Kalau saya nak buat untung, senang je saya buat soalan ni, lepas tu bagi tahu siapa nak beli soalan esei, beli dekat saya. Senang je. Tapi saya tak, saya bagi soalan memang free punya. But answer please try to find it yourself. Saya tak akan bagilah. Ini memang training yourself lah. Use your brain, train yourself, evaluate yourself. So if you want to get answer, you can get for me 10 ringgit per question. That's all. No promotion at all. No, not say that you buy stamp 1 ada promotion ke tak. No. Every question memang 10 ringgit. If you able to buy it, I think in semester 1 normally have already got altogether 1,000 questions. 10,000. If you able to pay it, fine. I am okay. If you able to pay it, I will give you all the answers. So my main purpose, okay, just about the essay. So for those who not alert, you can see it. Okay. Now today we will continue to finish up the aerobic respiration. So okay. So yesterday we already discussed about the Krebs cycle and also electron oxidative phosphorylation and also chemical osmosis, right? So actually we already finished learn about the mechanism of aerobic respiration already. But for today, we just want to learn four main things. First is to calculate the ATP produced from one glucose molecule. Because we only know that I just mentioned that glycolysis can produce what ATP, how many ATP, and NADH or NADH2, like that, right? But I did not mention how much of ATP that were produced from each glucose molecule. So today I will explain it, and also I will explain about the alternative sources. What are the alternative sources that can be used? Not only carbohydrate, protein and lipid also can be used as the energy sources. How they act as alternative sources, later we explain it. And also the effect of cyanide on the cellular respiration and also effect of carbon monoxide on cellular respiration. So today we'll cover these four topics. Okay. Okay, so firstly, we will focus about the net energy produced. How many ATP molecule will be produced from the uh, aerobic respiration, one glucose molecule. So this one is the just overall. So normally the ATP can be produced through two main process. Either it is substrate level phosphorylation or oxidative phosphorylation, right? So for substrate level phosphorylation, we know that glycolysis can directly produce two ATP, right? Uh, One glucose molecule. So all of this is based on one glucose molecule. So we know that one glucose molecule in glycolysis process, it can produce two ATP, right? Uh, we will still remember glycolysis can produce 4 ATP, but got 2 ATP will be used in the reaction. In the reaction number 1 and number 4, right? Number 1 and number 4. And then another glycolysis will be produced in reaction number 6 and number 9, if I'm not mistaken. Total the net production of ATP is 2. Only 2 ATP in glycolysis. Okay, in Krebs cycle, we also can produce 2 ATP, right? For modification from GTP. So we got GTP so that the ADP can be phosphorylated to form ATP. So Krebs cycle also can produce 2 ATP. So total ATP that produced from the substrate level phosphorylation are only 4 ATP only. Only 4. Okay, as we know that all of us know that one glucose molecule can produce 38 ATP, right? Actually this one you know in your SPN. So how about others 34 ATP? So all others 34 ATP actually is produced from oxidative phosphorylation. That involve electron transport chain and also chemical osmosis. So all of these energy carrier that produced either glycolysis, link reaction, and Krebs cycle will form ATP through this process: oxidative phosphorylation, electron transport chain, and also chemical osmosis. But the ATP is produced from oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, so glycolysis, we know that in glycolysis process, one glucose molecule can produce two NADH. In link reaction also can produce two NADH. in Krebs cycle, there are 3 reactions can produce NADH, right? And then each reaction can produce 2 NADH from 1 glucose molecule. So there are total 6 NADH can be produced in Krebs cycle. And also in Krebs cycle, it can be produced 2 FADH2. So if ATP can be produced from this energy carrier. So one NADH can produce 3 ATP, and one FADH2 can produce 2 ATP only. Okay, so that why FADH2 only can produce 2 ATP, and NADH can produce 3 ATP. This is because due to the pump of the hydrogen ion in electron transport chain. If you notice that for NADH, it will directly go to complex 1. And then complex 1, only complex 1, 3, and 4 are the protein that responsible to pump the hydrogen ion from the matrix, mitochondrial matrix to intermembrane space. But FADH2, it bind to complex 2. Complex 2 does not play the role to pump the hydrogen ion. Dia tak akan pump hydrogen ion 1. So that's why that FADH2 only can be produced 2 ATP less than. So NADH can produce high amount of ATP compared to FADH2 because FADH2 in complex 2, dia tak ada pump hydrogen ion. So it only involve complex 3 and complex 4. Complex 4 to pump the hydrogen ion. So if you see that, so one NADH can produce 3 ATP. So you see 2 times 3, it can produce 6 ATP. So total in glycolysis process actually can produce 8 ATP in glycolysis process only. So if exam will ask you how much of ATP, how the total of ATP can be produced from the glycolysis, the answer is 8 ATP lah, the total ATP through all the process one. But if the answer just say that directly ATP production through this substrate level phosphorylation, there is 2 lah. But if total ATP, memang 8 ATP. And link reaction also can produce 2 NADH. So in link reaction also can produce 6 ATP. And then in Krebs cycle, it can produce 6 NADH, right? So times 3, you can get 18 ATP. And then also FADH2, 2 FADH2 produced, so you times 2, you can get 4 ATP. So if you sum up all together, you will get 38 ATP molecule. Okay, maybe got somebody will ask, how to the 38 ATP come from is based on this. Okay, so I hope everyone can understand it. Okay, I hope my line is okay. 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 Now we go to this edition. It say that only 38 ATP is produced. Hanya 38, not 38, 32 only. Got 32 ATP produced only compared to this 38. So actually, I also don't know in NPN dia terima 32 or 38. Because in syllabus dia pun tak bagi jawapan yang tepat. But almost all school teacher lah, I think almost all school teacher still remain 38 ATP. So I assume that NPN it accept 38 ATP punya jawapan lah compared to this the new one. So, if your school teacher, I already asked many students, your senior, normally their school teacher is using this yang lama punya knowledge lah, the old knowledge, not the new knowledge. So, by the way, anyway, so because of your many school teachers still remain to use 38 ATP, so you just ignore the books, the latest book lah, the latest book, international book that say that it only can produce 32 ATP. So I don't want to explain it because if I explain, normally you will use it. So I don't want to explain it. Just that you still remain use this lah. Still remain use this. Don't don't use this 32, because this one is the knowledge that discovered by the scientists futurely, just the latest knowledge. So that's why that if you see refer Campbell 7 edition 7 or 6 edition yang lama punya, memang dia akan tulis 38. But in the now one, I think start from 9 edition or 10 edition, it already changed to 32, 32 ATP. So whatever you don't need to know it, tak perlu tahu, just ignore it. Ignore it je. Just ignore it. Just still remain this 38 ATP. Okay, but you want to know it, you can Google it. So for now, I don't want to explain it because if I explain, nanti awak sakit kepala. Sakit kepala. So I don't want it. You just maintain whatever have in now. Okay. Okay, so next is about the alternative sources. Okay, so we know that the knowledge we learn about the aerobic respiration, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and also the electron transport chain are the main substrate, the initial substrate is come from glucose molecule, carbohydrate. Carbohydrate one monosaccharide. Okay, how about if let's say protein and lipid? So actually, our protein and lipid can be added as the alternative sources is if our blood does not contain glucose already, or our blood glucose level is very low, very low, sangat rendah lah, terlalu rendah sangat. So normally the protein and lipid will be take over to act as the alternate sources to produce energy. But the main sources is carbohydrate. Kalau ada carbohydrate, memang dia akan guna carbohydrate. Alternate sources is that when the carbohydrate level in our body is very low, then it will use the alternative sources. So normally got two main alternative sources. Normally is protein and lipid lah. Protein and also lipid. Nucleic acid also can, but not into syllabus lah. Bukan syllabus awak. So normally if you see this diagram, you just focus on protein and lipid. Normally polysaccharide is about carbohydrate lah. So you know that polysaccharide is the polymer of the carbohydrate. It can undergo hydrolysis process to form monosaccharide, that is glucose molecule. And then the reaction is same as that we learned yesterday and last week. Okay, for protein and lipid, actually the metabolism process is totally different from sugar lah. Normally, it totally different one. Totally different. So that we will see that, what are the metabolism process about amino acid and also fatty acid. So amino acid is the protein. We know that the monomer of protein is amino acid, right? And then also the lipid and fat. So normally the monomer or lipid and fat, not only fatty acid, we also have glycerol, right? Glycerol and fatty acid. So if you see here this arrow, semua arrow ni, if you see here, normally for amino acid, it will undergoes the series of reaction and then finally enter Krebs cycle. Dia akan finally enter Krebs cycle. For fatty acid, it will undergoes beta oxidation and then beta oxidation to form acetyl CoA. Directly form acetyl CoA. So how to form it? Later I will explain it. Just that you will see here, you see this. Normally the Krebs cycle play the main role lah. Semua benda, semua monomer tu dia akan tukar-tukar macam mana dia akan enter Krebs cycle. Amino acid finally dia akan juga undergo Krebs cycle. It will undergo the deamination reaction lah. Finally the side product also will enter Krebs cycle. And then fatty acid also will form acetyl CoA and then later will also enter the Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle actually is the very important process lah, not only for sugar or also amino acid and fatty acid. So Krebs cycle is a very important process. So how it? Later we learn it. So this is for about the protein metabolism. Okay, in protein metabolism, this one actually you will learn in semester 2, sem 2. Sem 2, you will learn one cycle again, not Krebs cycle, citric acid cycle is Krebs cycle. You will learn another cycle called ornithine cycle. Or another name is urea cycle lah. Ornithine cycle or urea cycle. So this cycle you don't need to know now because you will learn in semester 2, sem 2. Sem 2 baru awal belajar. Just for now, you just want to know dia ada ornithine cycle je. Ada urea cycle je. Just mention about urea cycle, enough. Tak perlu hafal-hafal yang macam Krebs cycle. Dia macam Krebs cycle punya. Ada banyak juga intermediate product one. But you don't need to know now. But for your senior, sem 3, for those who can detect you two punya, awak kena tahu lah. Kerana awak ada retake, so awak kena tahu. But for those who not retake or sem 1 junior, you don't need to know. Awak tak perlu tahu yet. Okay, normally how protein is metabolized normally is that the protein polypeptide will be hydrolyzed to 4 amino acid, right? Okay, once it hydrolyzed to 4 amino acid, so normally the amino acid it will separate to 2 pathway lah. Either it will undergo deamination reaction or transmission reaction. But for now, you just want to know it will undergo deamination reaction. Deamination reaction. Deamination reaction meaning it will remove ammonia. Dia akan remove ammonia. Ammonium ion. Ammonium ion lah. Dia akan remove ammonia punya. Ammonia. You know that in our amino acid, we have amino group and also carboxyl group, right? So the amino group will be removed. That is why we call as deamination. Deamination. Meaning it remove deamination. It means it remove amino group. Remove amino group already. So it remove in form of ammonium lah. Ammonium ion or ammonia. Okay, once it remove ammonia, meaning that it only contain carboxyl group and also carbon skeleton lah. Group lah. So that later it will enter urea cycle. Dia akan enter urea cycle. Urea cycle, and then after enter urea cycle, it will finally produce the final product is called urea. It is a waste product. Urea is the waste product. Yang ni yang kami tak mahu punya. Urea is the waste product that cannot be absorbed in human body, and also ammonia. Ammonia is also waste product. So that is why the ammonia say as it is the toxic substance. Memang toxic. Ammonia, if in high level of ammonia in our body, actually it will cause toxic punya. So that is why that when they are also urea. So that is why that kami cakap makan banyak daging, banyak ayam, that eat a lot amount of protein, especially meat lah. Meat or chicken or beef or kambing, semua tu awak makan banyak memang tak bagus lah. Kenapa? Kerana dia akan it will produce high amount of urea. High amount of urea and also ammonia. Although that is why it is not recommended to eat too much of meat lah. Okay, whatever. So this one is about the protein metabolism. Okay, so when you ask me how it can provide energy, then macam mana tak provide energy? So actually in urea cycle, if I not mistaken, it will produce the malate. I not mistaken lah, dia akan produce one molecule called malate 1. And then this intermediate molecule will enter Krebs cycle again. Not malate, succinate. I didn't forget it lah. What? But normally there are one molecule inside the urea cycle will enter into the Krebs cycle. So when it enter the Krebs cycle, it can produce large amount of ATP already lah. Compare large amount of ATP. But for this process, all of this process yang ni urea cycle semua ni dia akan ada hasil apa ATP pun. Memang tak ada hasil. Why many people cakap mereka kalau nak buat kalau nak buat apa, when you want to exercise, bagi amount of energy compared to carbohydrate. So that is why many people makan protein banyak-banyak lah. Kalau especially for gym, orang yang latih gym punya. Okay, okay, whatever. So this is the just overall of protein metabolism. Okay, next is about the lipid metabolism. Okay, yang ni memang quicker sikit, susah sikit compared to protein. Dia complex sikit. So in general, we know that lipid is very complex punya, kan? Dia ada satu glycerol, three glycerol, one glycerol molecule and three fatty acid, right? We know that. And then after it hydrolyzed, using lipase molecule, it can form glycerol and also one glycerol and also three fatty acid chains, right? And then you will see here one glycerol and three fatty acid chains. So these two compound will be undergoes the different metabolism process. So normally for glycerol metabolism, glycerol it will undergoes the reaction, reaction will form these two substance, glycerol 3-phosphate and also 1,3-dihydroxy acetone. So 1,3-dihydroxy acetone. And then after that, it can form 1,3-dihydroxy acetone phosphate. Finally, the glycerol will undergo the C series of reaction, will form the 1,3-dihydroxy acetone phosphate. So I think this one you guys familiar with it, right? Apa ini? Imagine it. Apa itu? Ini adalah intermediate for glycolysis, right? The cleavage reaction. After undergo cleavage reaction, dia akan hasilkan ini kan, 1,3-dihydroxy acetone phosphate. After that, it will continue further the glycolysis reaction. So inilah glycerol punya metabolism. Okay, yang ni paling susah lah. Fatty acid punya. Fatty acid is lebih complex compared to glycerol because fatty acid contain long carbon chain. Dia ada carbon chain yang panjang. Okay, so the fatty acid actually will undergo the reaction we know as beta oxidation. It will not undergo the reaction we know as beta oxidation. Okay, so if you see here, see this reaction, apa semua reaction ni, awak tak perlu tahu the reaction. I just want to highlight that. You see here, you can see that in beta oxidation, it will produce the final product is acetyl-CoA, right? Acetyl-CoA. Dia akan final produce acetyl-CoA. But in the all this reaction, you see that first reaction will be use ATP. Dia akan guna satu ATP. And then the forward reaction, dia akan produce FADH2 and also NADH. Awak tengok. Dia akan produce FADH2 and also NADH. So this means that their fatty acid can produce high amount of energy compared to carbohydrate. Because in glucose molecule, when we go to glycolysis hanya produce apa? If you imagine this is glycolysis process. The first reaction is glycolysis. Glycolysis only can produce 2 ATP and also 1 NADH only. But fatty acid dia boleh hasilkan 1 FADH2 and also 1 NADH. Lebih banyak lah. And fatty acid is long carbon chain. It is very long carbon chain. You see here, not only here, actually there are banyak C lagi. So actually in one beta oxidation, it will only remove 2 carbon only. Because acetyl-CoA just 2 carbon. It only contain 2 carbon only, right? Acetyl-CoA only contain 2 carbon. So in the series of fatty acid punya metabolism, dia akan remove 2 carbon, 1 reaction. one beta oxidation only can remove 2 carbon. So if you imagine that, if let's say this fatty acid contains 6 carbon, there are other 6 carbon. So how many beta oxidation can be run? If let's say it has 6 carbon, there are other 6 carbon. So if you have 6 carbon, meaning it can run 3 round beta oxidation and then to form 3 acetyl-CoA. Faham maksud saya? In glycolysis, if you compare to carbohydrate dia hanya boleh if you want to go to glucose to acetyl-CoA, final dia akan hasilkan one glucose molecule only can produce 2 acetyl-CoA. Hanya 2 je. Glucose molecule carbon 6. When the carbon is equal to 6. But in fatty acid, when the carbon also equal to 6, but it can produce 3 acetyl-CoA. Dia akan hasilkan 3 acetyl-CoA because 2, 2, 2. And then it also can undergo 3 beta oxidation, so meaning that it will produce 3 FADH2, 3 NADH dekat sini, dekat beta oxidation. So, if you imagine that fatty acid, not all the fatty acid can produce very high amount of energy compared to carbohydrate. Memang. Because carbohydrate, dia hanya boleh produce 2 acetyl-CoA. Kalau fatty acid, dia dah boleh produce 3 acetyl-CoA already. And also, within beta oxidation pun boleh hasilkan energy carrier. Semua energy carrier ni akan masuk ke electron transport chain. So that's why we say that although the fatty acid we have the same carbon number as the glucose molecule, the fatty acid can produce very high amount of energy compared to glucose. And in real situation, normally the fatty acid carbon chain is higher than 10. C10, C12, even C20 also have. So if you can imagine that if got C20, meaning how many times of beta oxidation can go and how many acetyl-CoA can be formed. What boleh imagine lah. So that's why that fatty acid can give high amount of energy. High amount of energy. Okay, if you say that fatty acid boleh hasilkan high amount of energy, kenapa banyak orang gemuk juga? Kan? Guna fatty acid cukup lah. Kenapa nak guna cukup? As I mentioned, the main energy source, the main carbon source or energy source that we use in our metabolism process is glucose. Fatty acid, the lipid will not take over. Lipid and protein tak akan take over. Akan take over punya adalah glucose. Kalau hanya glucose turun atau in small amount, baru dia akan guna protein or fatty acid. Memang macam tu punya. So that is why kalau awak makan makanan yang sangat high oil content, normally goreng punya lah. You eat more ayam goreng, semua goreng-goreng, ayam goreng, kentang goreng, ikan goreng, semua tu, ataupun makan banyak junk food, snack food, all these are rich in fat, right? All this is rich in fat. So normally it will become fat lah. Store in your body lah. So if you want to become menjadi kurus, normally you need to increase the rate of fatty acid metabolism. So how to increase it? Later if you know doktor lah. Kalau awak belajar doktor, then you know lah apa itu, macam mana cara dia. Just that in this knowledge, I just want to share you how fatty acid can be metabolized. So yang ni dia salah satu tahun MPM saya tak tahu dia buat apa. Dia keluar. Memang dia akan keluar. Dia keluar beta oxidation punya proses. No proses. Dia nak awak kira ATP molecule from the fatty acid and then compare with the glucose molecule. So that's why I teach lah. Kerana dah kena keluar. So saya tak boleh tak mengajar lah. So yang ni saya rasa sekolah awak pun tak akan ajar awak detail. Even though in Oxford punya buku Oxford pun tak ada mention banyak macam ni. So please alert it because it already come out in past year, so maybe it will come out in your year, tak tahu. Okay, so not only fatty acid and also the glycerol and also the protein. Protein you need to know also because in the syllabus. So you need to know. Okay. Okay, next is the last one is the effect of cyanide on respiration. Okay, so the first important is what is cyanide lah. Apa itu cyanide? So the cyanide, the chemical formula is CN. 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 It is the very toxic substance. Sangat toxic. Ini benda kebanyakan ini very toxic dia. So normally this one is in the industry area lah. Normally when the industry area in the chemical process all maybe they akan produce cyanide. So cyanide actually is very toxic substance. When some people awak nafas cyanide tu, awak memang die immediately. Memang cepat. So why it is very dangerous and also very toxic? Normally this cyanide will be bind to the ferrum by the ion atom of the cytochrome A3. Yang ni. You know that our cytochrome A3 is the last cytochrome in complex form. Before it transfer the electron to the oxygen already. It is the last terminal lah, last terminal. And then cyanide, it will bind to the fat ion of the cytochrome A3. So this one will block the electron flow. You know that the ion atom in the cytochrome is the responsibility to accept electron and release electron. Dia adalah major role. Kalau cytochrome A3 dia sudah bind dekat cyanide, maksudnya memang cytochrome A3 dah tak boleh buat apa-apa lah. Dia tak boleh accept electron already. So once the cytochrome A3 is bind with the cyanide, meaning the electron flow is already blocked. Dia sudah block lah. Dia dah block. Then no oxygen, so the electron cannot go to the final terminal electron. So when the electron is stuck at here, so how about the other electron? Semua electron pun akan stuck lah. Yang cytochrome A, C, semua ni dia akan stuck together until complex one. So meaning that the NADH or FADH2, the energy carrier actually already cannot be oxidized already. Dia tak boleh oxidize lah kerana elektron semua sudah dah stuck at there. Macam ada laluan lah, macam kereta lah. Kereta kalau awak in highway kadang-kadang ada satu polis, kadang-kadang polis block all the way. Memang block all the way. Maksud apa? Memang jam lah, jam sampai gila lah, 20 km until 100 km also can. If the jam cannot, if the police does not come out, tak ada keluar. Police just stay at there, semua kereta tak boleh lalu, memang akan jam sampai bila-bila lah. Sampai sangat panjang lah. Same as here. So if the jam, though NADH tak boleh oxidize lah, kerana dia tak boleh transfer electron to the complex one, and NADH2 cannot transfer electron to complex 2 already. So this will result in no chemical osmosis occur. Meaning no hydrogen ion pump. Hydrogen ion cannot pump into the intermembrane cavity. So no electrochemical gradient. And then the ATP synthase also cannot work. Because the hydrogen ion at here is actually already low concentration. Because if we want to maintain the balance, this one the intermembrane should be maintained high hydrogen ion concentration. Matrix kena low concentration. But for now, because of the block, no hydrogen ion pump, so in lama-lama dia akan jadi terbalik lah. So dah terbalik, memang tak ada electrochemical gradient, so ATP synthase pun tak boleh kerja lah. So no chemical no oxidative phosphorylation, no electron flow. So semua ni dia akan menyebabkan no energy at all lah. Tak ada energy lah. Tak ada energy. Kalau sel tak ada energy, if you think that cell can survive, no. Tak boleh kan? Sel nak energy. Dia memang nak energy punya. Tak boleh. Dia tak ada energy, memang tak boleh survive. So, orang itu akan mati lah. Kerana dia tak ada hasilkan, tak boleh hasilkan energy already. So this is the cyanide. So the main role is that cyanide will bind to the FAM atom of the cytochrome A3 at the complex form. And then another term is cyanide will act as the non-competitive inhibitor lah, yang paling penting punya. So this is all the explanation. So you will know that it will bind to the cytochrome A3. Okay, so this terminal transfer of electron to oxygen is inhibited. And then electron flow is blocked. So no pump occur for mitochondrial matrix form electrochemical gradient. Failure to create an electrochemical proton gradient. So no hydrogen ion cannot pass through the ATP synthesis. So no chemical association. So no ATP. So as a result, cell cannot undergo cellular activity. So high dose of cyanide will cause instantaneous death. Immediately one. Once the cell cannot produce any energy, memang akan mati terus. Because we need energy. Kami kena banyak energy punya. Human kena banyak energy. Because human is not the anaerobic. Dia bukan anaerobic punya, not the anaerobic organism. It is aerobic organism. It memang dia kena ada oksigen. Because oxygen is the final electron acceptor. Memang dia kena ada oksigen. Kalau tak ada oksigen, no cellular activity lah. Okay, now next about is carbon monoxide. Okay, so carbon monoxide also will bind to the cytochrome also, but normally the carbon monoxide will bind to the hemoglobin part. Hemoglobin punya part. Because as we know that carbon monoxide has the same what how to say, carbon monoxide is act as the competitive inhibitor with the hemoglobin. Dia akan bind dekat hemoglobin. Okay, what are the effects? Okay, if you know that when the oxygen gas is our transport gases exchange oxygen gas, how the oxygen gas can be transported to all of the cells normally is because of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin can transport all the oxygen gas into and then release out to the cell, so that the cell can use that oxygen as the electron terminal electron acceptor. But for now, if carbon monoxide is present, it will bind toward the hemoglobin. Dia bukan oxygen bind hemoglobin lah, carbon monoxide. Because why carbon monoxide? Because carbon monoxide has the higher affinity compared to oxygen. So hemoglobin memang dia akan tengok, ada carbon monoxide, baiklah dia akan bind carbon monoxide. Oxygen dia tak akan bind. So once it bind carbon monoxide, meaning it will release, the hemoglobin will release carbon monoxide to mitochondria. Bukan oxygen lah. Dia akan release carbon monoxide lah. So once it release the carbon monoxide, what is the happen is it will inhibit no oxygen at all lah. Tak ada oxygen. Inhibition of the reduction of oxygen to water. No oxygen. Sekarang sel ni dia ada carbon monoxide. Dia bukan oxygen. But carbon monoxide is not a final electron acceptor. The final electron acceptor is oxygen. So no oxygen, memang same as here. Kalau tak ada oxygen, memang stuck juga lah. Kerana electron stuck at here. Dia sudah stuck at here. Stuck at complex form. Because the electron need to transfer into the oxygen so that it can reduce to form water. But for now, tak boleh. Dia sudah stuck. So as a result also, the electron flow is blocked and no chemi-osmosis is occur. So it is the inhibition of the transfer. So the result, the final result, these two results same, but the binding, the inhibition method is different. Cyanide will bind to cytochrome A3, but carbon monoxide will bind to hemoglobin. Bind to dekat hemoglobin. So dia bind dekat hemoglobin, then it will release the hemoglobin lah. Hemoglobin will release the carbon monoxide so that the carbon monoxide, so that the oxygen level is decreased. So meaning the cells is not contain high amount of oxygen already. So tak ada oksigen memang stuck jugalah. Kerana elektron dah tak boleh lah. Saya nak pergi oksigen, saya nak kawan dekat oksigen. Carbon monoxide saya tak mau. But tak ada oksigen, so saya tunggulah. Tunggu sampai oksigen datang. So awak tunggu sampai bila-bila dia pun tak datang. Memang it already inhibit the pump lah, hydrogen ion pump into intermembrane space. After that, it will also block the electron flow. So the result also the same. Just that the final result also the same, just that the factor effect is different. One is bind to the cytochrome A3, one is bind to hemoglobin. So normally this carbon monoxide is happening in aircon, especially in kereta punya aircon. Kereta punya aircon, if you see the news, dah banyak berita kan. I think just last 2 years or last 3 years only, kalau ada satu berita tu Kedah punya university student, mereka pergi satu A&R dekat highway, SP ke highway, lepas tu mereka tidur dekat kereta, buka aircon. Tidur dekat kerana terlalu letih, mereka tidur dekat kereta, buka aircon. Kalau macam ni, because the aircon in the car will release carbon monoxide. It will release large amount of carbon monoxide. Once you consume large amount of carbon monoxide, memang awak mati pun tak tahu. Memang masa tu you see that news that university student dia memang macam tidur je. Baru ternampak orang luar nampak nak selamatkan dia, dah ada 2 orang mati lah. Dua orang dah mati. Dan satu orang nasib baik dia dihidupkan lah di dekat hospital. But ada 2 orang sudah mati. But they die, they even don't know. Mereka pun tak tahu mereka dah mati. Macam tu lah. This is the news lah. So please, if you that's the case there. So why they can die? Because of this carbon monoxide. So please alert for this lah. This is about your daily life lah, especially for those who always go to highway. Kalau awak pergi highway, driving dekat highway, kalau memang letih, dekat kereta, tak mau buka aircon, buka window, buka tingkap kereta dah cukup. Tak boleh buka aircon punya. Kalau awak buka aircon, memang awak mati pun awak tak tahu. Okay, so that's all for today. I think that's all for today. So for today, guys, maybe end more earlier lah compared to. So for now, because I need you guys to maybe take time to digest all these topics. Because chapter 5 memang dia susah sikit. For if you first time learn, maybe dia memang susah sikit lah. Dan juga after that, you need to do revision, you need to memorize all the terms, especially calculation and Krebs cycle. So I think that's all for today. So any question or not? No question. Okay, for the school teacher, just enter this chapter. Okay, so hopefully you can understand it more when you attend my class, and then you attend your school teacher punya class, so you can know lah what about that. So I think that's all for today. So any question? No question. Okay. So I think that's all for. So I see you for senior. I see you next this Friday. So this Friday we will continue. So this Friday actually we will continue chapter what ah? Chapter 18 lah, gene technology, the new chapter. Okay, so that's all. So thank you guys. So see you next week. Okay, so bye.